Welcome back to Study Sprint. In this video, we're going to be looking at multiplying and dividing fractions. So the steps for multiplying fractions are that you first multiply all the numerators together, then you multiply all the denominators together, and lastly you simplify your answer if needed. A quick tip for multiplying fractions is to make your calculation simpler when multiplying. You can cancel factors that appear in the numerator and the denominator of either fraction. So if a number in the numerator of one fraction shares a common factor with the denominator of the other fraction, then you can divide both numbers by the factor first. Now let's take a look at a few questions. The first one is, calculate 3 over 5 times 1 over 6. So we are going to start off by multiplying both the numerators and the denominators together. The true fractions are 3 over 5 and 1 over 6. We're going to multiply the numerators of both the fractions together. So 3 times 1, which is 3, and 5 times 6, which is 30. So now fraction is 3 over 30. Now you can see that 3 over 30 can be simplified further. Both of the numbers are divisible by 3. So 3 times 1 is 3 and 3 times 10 is 30. So a simplified form of this fraction will be 1 over 10. Now we're going to look at a second way to solve the same question. To write down my fractions again. So 3 over 5 times 1 over 6. And this time what I'm going to do is that I'm going to cancel out a numerator and a denominator. So in the fractions 3 over 5 and 1 over 6, you can see that the numbers 3 and 6 can be divisible by a common factor, which is 3. Now in multiplication, you can cancel one numerator and one denominator. So over here we are cross-cancelling because we're taking the numerator of the first fraction and the denominator of the second fraction. So 3 divided by 3 is 1 and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So now I'm going to write my fractions as 1 over 5 times 1 over 2. And now I can multiply it. So 1 times 1 is 1, 5 times 2 is 10. So my answer is the same, is equals to 1 over 10. We got 1 over 10 with both the ways that we did it. The only difference was that when you have bigger numbers over here, bigger fractions, cancelling makes the number smaller. So then it's easier to multiply smaller numbers rather than larger numbers. So now our next question is, calculate 7 over 10 times 5 over 14. Now I'm going to start off by writing both the fractions again. 7 over 10 times 5 over 14. And I'm going to multiply both the numerators together and then both the denominators together. So 7 times 5 is equal to 35 and 10 times 14 is equal to 140. We also know that 35 over 140 can be divided by a common factor. So 35 divided by 35 is 1 and 140 divided by 35 is 4. So my answer is going to be 1 over 4. Now we are going to do this question again using the second method. So we are going to write 7 over 10 times 5 over 14. And now again, remember in multiplication we can cancel a numerator and a denominator together. Now 7 over 10 cannot be divisible by a common factor. However, 7 and 14 are divisible by 7. So 7 times 1 is 7 and 7 times 2 is 14. Now 5 over 10 are also divisible by 5. So 5 times 1 is 5 and 5 times 2 is 10. So that makes our fractions 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. Now we're going to multiply the numerators together. So 1 times 1 is 1 and 2 times 2 is 4. So our answer is 1 over 4. Now let's take a look at dividing fractions. Step 1 is to flip the second fraction upside down. So to swap the numerator and the denominator. Step 2 is to change the division sign with a multiplication sign. And step 3 is to multiply the fractions. So let's start with the first question, which is calculate 4 over 13 divided by 1 over 3. So now I'm going to write my question again. So 4 over 13 divided by 1 over 3. Now what we are going to do is, instead of dividing fractions, it's easier to multiply them. So we are going to swap this fraction. So 3 will go as a numerator and 1 will come as a denominator, and this division sign will change into a multiplication sign. So I'm going to write this fraction again in this manner. So 4 over 13 multiplying by 3 over 1. Now we are going to follow the whole process of the multiplying fractions. So 4 times 3 is 12. And 13 times 1 is 13. So my answer is 12 over 13. Now let's move on to our second question, which is calculate 3 over 4 divided by 9 over 10. So if we have the fractions 3 over 4 and we're dividing it with 9 over 10. Now what we are going to do is we are going to swap this fraction. So 10 will go in the numerator and 9 will come as a denominator. So 3 over 4. And now we are going to change this division sign into a multiplication sign. And this 9 over 10 will be 10 over 9. We are going to follow the steps of what we did in multiplying fractions. So 3 and 9 can be divided by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 4 and 10 can be divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. So now our fractions are 1 over 2 multiplying by 5 over 3. Now we are going to multiply the numerator, so 5 times 1 is 5, and 3 times 2 is 6. So our answer is 5 over 6. Last question for this video is calculate 3 over 7 divided by 6. Now in this question we have a fraction 3 over 7 and a whole number 6. So whenever we have a whole number, that means that the whole number is going to be the numerator and it's going to have 1 in the denominator. So we don't have to write the 1 in the denominator. Now again, we are going to flip this second fraction. And then we are going to change this division sign into a multiplication sign. So 3 over 7 multiplying by 1 over 6. Now 3 and 6 are divisible by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we have the fraction 1 over 7 multiplying with 1 over 2. Now we're going to multiply the numerator. So 1 times 1 is 1 and 7 times 2 is 14. So our answer is 1 over 14. Now whenever you have to flip the fractions over, you always do it with the second fraction. You don't do it to both the fractions and you don't do it with the first fraction. You always do it to the second fraction. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with others. For more updates, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the notification bell.